I'm Alex with Storyline Travel. Today we're going to talk about the moderate resorts at Walt Disney World. Today, let's take a look at the moderate resorts at Walt Disney World. This is the category that's a mid-tier for Disney, and we're going to talk about 3.5 resorts. I'll explain that in just a moment. And then if you stay to the very end, we have a special moderate category resort, but it doesn't really fit the typical Disney moderate resort. I'll explain when we get to the end. While you're here, take a moment and give us a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe, as we're here every Friday to share information about family vacations. Specifically right now we're focusing on Disney resorts, but we'll also talk about Universal, we'll talk about family cruising and different tours, whether it's Hawaii, Alaska, Europe, anything for your family. We're going to be here giving you updates, tips, tricks, and more. So, all right, let's get into the Disney moderate resort category. A little bit about the moderate resorts. The standard room size is around 300 square foot, bit bigger than the value resort. The bed configurations will either be a king or 2 queens. So these beds are going to be bigger, more comfortable for your family, especially as they get older, as your kids are growing up. Moderate resorts are a great option. Moderate resorts do tend to have more amenities than your value resorts. For example, there will be typically a second pool known as the quiet pool. It's not going to be themed like the main pool is, but it is a second option and normally a good place to go. There will be things like bike rentals or water activity rentals that are available to you. And moderate resorts, you'll find a sit-down restaurant. Something where you may need a reservation to get in addition to your food court or your pool bar, you'll have a nice option for a meal while you're at your resort. The transportation could be a bit varied compared to your value resorts, and they're going to be closer to your theme parks. Not the closest, again, moderate. They're somewhere in the middle. The bathrooms in a moderate resort are interesting in that the tub and shower combo with the toilet will be its own room, similar to like a water closet that you can shut off. And the vanity area will actually be next to it separate. So if you have someone taking a shower, you can actually close the door. You still have access to your sink, your vanity area. And then opposite that water closet will be your clothes closet for hanging up, storing your luggage, and those types of things. Moderate resorts will tend to open to the outside and face either a parking lot, you get that pool view or wooded view that you might see in a value, but moderates also will tend to have some type of a water view available for a body of water, whether it's a lake, a river, something unique to that. So they do have an added view for you. Again, like the values, the least expensive are going to be those standard views where you're looking at a parking lot or the top of a building. Something less attractive all the way up to that body of water view will most likely be your more expensive. And then a few of our moderate resorts we'll find have some special theming, and these are the most expensive rooms, but it really puts you in the magic depending on what your family likes and what you'd like to experience. So let's jump in. The first moderate resort I'd like to talk to you about is Caribbean Beach, and it is my personal favorite. Part of that is because the first time I went to Walt Disney World, our family stayed at Caribbean Beach. It was our introduction to Walt Disney World, and because of that, it really does hold a special place in our heart. The Caribbean Beach is considered an Epcot area resort, located closest to Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios. This resort's probably just about a 5-minute bus ride, or now with the new Skyliner ride, to Epcot and to Disney's Hollywood Studios. So that's your transportation. The resort is really spread out. It's one of the bigger footprints. And so there is a bus that runs just internal to the Caribbean Beach Resort Complex. A little bit about the resort itself. It's brightly colored, really brings in those Caribbean colors. And it's broken up into categories of resort buildings that make up 5 islands. So your 5 islands are Barbados, Jamaica. By the way, we stayed in the Jamaica Island resorts when we were there. So again, special place for us. Aruba, Trinidad, and Martinique. The Caribbean Beach Resort surrounds a lake, a body of water, and there are sand beaches. On those sand beaches, you'll find hammocks. Great place to relax. If you do follow our Facebook page for Storyline Travel, you will actually go back to some of the older posts and find me on that first trip laid out on a hammock, quite peaceful. So that's one of the amenities. We've done paddle boats at Caribbean Beach, and again, it's really a lot of fun. One final unique feature of Caribbean Beach I wanted to share with you is that a few of the rooms there have a specific theme, and they're pirate themed rooms. The beds look like pirate ships, and the rooms are decorated with that extra touch of Disney magic to bring the Pirates of the Caribbean into your room. So if your family are big fans of pirates, definitely check out the pirate themed rooms. They're something unique and special just for the Caribbean Beach. Now let's talk about Coronado Springs. Coronado Springs is a Disney Animal Kingdom resort area. It's located closest to the Animal Kingdom. From Coronado Springs, your bus ride's about 5 minutes to Animal Kingdom. Buses are the only transportation options at Coronado Springs, so that's something to be aware of from a transportation standpoint. You will take a bus unless you opt to pay for other transportation, like a ride share, Uber, Lyft, or a taxi. The theming of Coronado Springs is Spanish, Mexico, Southwest American theme. Bring that in. Their food court has some fantastic Mexican theme options. Coronado Springs, it's a bigger resort, but not spread out as much as Caribbean Beach or some of the other moderate resorts. And they've recently finished a tower at Coronado Springs, and within the last few years. So some of their rooms face out, some of their rooms face in, especially in the tower, and that's good to know. It gives you that option. Coronado Springs is one of the convention resort hotels at Walt Disney World, and so there are times when there are conventions going on, which could make the resort a little more crowded, or you could find yourself there because you are participating in a convention. And I think it's good to know that aspect of Coronado Springs. Two unique features of Coronado Springs is that it is one of the only moderate, maybe the only moderate resort that has a fitness center. And if that's important to you to have that and still be at that moderate level, that is a great location to be. The other thing, and I think this is because it is a convention center resort, as I mentioned earlier, is Coronado Springs does have a club level. So if you're looking to move up and have that extra feature of club access, snacks and beverages throughout your stay added to your room, Coronado Springs is one of those to take a look at and going forward. The third are 3.5 moderate resorts I want to talk to you about is Port Orleans. And the reason I say 3.5 is that Port Orleans is the largest footprint of the moderate resorts, and it really holds two unique themed resort areas within the Port Orleans. You have Port Orleans Riverside, and Port Orleans French Quarter. So let's take a look at Port Orleans Riverside. Themed after rural Louisiana, you have everything from the Magnolia Bend mansions to the Alligator Bayou cottages. Port Orleans Riverside is spread out, one of the bigger parts of the Port Orleans resort area, and you have these different feels of rural Louisiana. So it's really rustic, relaxed, comfortable feeling in these resort hotel rooms. Port Orleans Riverside has some uniquely themed rooms, the Royal Guest Rooms, and they're themed after The Princess and the Frog, and Princess Tiana is welcoming you. For your princesses, this can be a fun room, but not to overlook the princes. The rooms are themed royally, with the deep blues and purples and that touch to Princess and a Frog. Additionally, Port Orleans Riverside is one of our pet-friendly resorts in which they allow up to 2 dogs. Some restrictions apply on that, but if you're bringing your family dogs with you, this is one of the resorts to take a look at. Transportation is by bus to most of your theme parks. You can catch a boat to Disney Springs, as Port Orleans is considered a Disney Springs resort area. You have that option to go to Disney Springs, the shopping and entertainment district, by boat. Everything else will be by bus. And because of the large nature of Port Orleans, there is an internal bus that goes around that can take you from one end to the other. Port Orleans French Quarter, on the other hand, more has that New Orleans feel, the French Quarter feel and design to the resorts at this location. And even within that unique feature of the gas lamps and the architecture of the French Quarter, you will also get the Mardi Gras feel. And that's decorated throughout Port Orleans French Quarter. The French Quarter has a fantastic food court. My family loves to go and visit the Sassagoula, where you can get authentic Cajun food, including the Mickey beignets. And I highly recommend, even if you're not staying at the French Quarter, to make a trip over there at some point and get some Mickey beignets. Very good. Highly recommended. One additional activity I would like to share with you from the French Quarter is that for a fee, you can take a horse-drawn carriage from the French Quarter around the grounds of Port Orleans. A really unique experience, that nod to New Orleans and the Louisiana lifestyle there in southern Louisiana. So it could be something that your family would really enjoy, taking that additional activity there at the French Quarter. So that's the official 3.5, 4 moderate resorts. But I promised if you stayed with me this long, I would talk about the special resort. Disney classifies their cabins at Fort Wilderness as a moderate resort. But these cabins are very unique and nothing like the rest of the modern resorts. It is the only modern option that's available in the Magic Kingdom resort area, so it could be something that would be beneficial for those fans of Magic Kingdom. While the Port Orleans is considered a Disney Springs area, and it is further from Magic Kingdom than the cabins at Fort Wilderness, it's probably the closest traditional moderate resort to the Magic Kingdom. But we're talking about the cabins, so let's get to it. Cabins will sleep 6 adults. They are more of a villa style accommodation with a bedroom, a living room. They have a kitchen in addition to the bathroom. Not surprising, the theming is the American frontier, as the cabins look like log cabins that were built. They're set among the trees, and you will see wildlife roaming around while you're there. The cabins do share with the campground, which is where RV hookups are and people can bring their RVs. So it is a very unique location. One of the key amenities that you can do is you can rent a golf cart for 4 while you're there to ride around. This is probably one of the largest areas, footprints for a resort. But again, it's really unique setup. They have outdoor grills if you want to barbecue while you're there. The cabins are also more pet friendly, where they do allow up to 2 dogs. Again, conditions apply. We definitely want to check into that, but if you're bringing the family dog, this is a location you can look at. And finally, for transportation, to most theme parks, you will grab a bus and take off. You can get to the Magic Kingdom by boat. That is an option for you as well. So really a unique option in that moderate category, but I do think it's more special and sets off to itself. Something you could look at and really maybe feel more at home while staying in the moderate resorts. That's Disney's moderate resorts. Again, they're mid-level. Have you stayed at a moderate resort? Tell us below which one you stayed at. What did you think of it? Was it something you would do again? And at Storyline Travel, we believe every adventure is a story waiting to be told.